Hello and welcome to the 57th episode of Growing Up Geek, the weekly podcast for geek entertainment and nostalgia. My name is Brad and I am joined by a man who once put off going to the bathroom for several hours in order to continue playing Nintendo, my brother Rob.
57.
Yes!
Yes.
That is German for 57, right?
Right. 57th episode.
Yeah, thank you.
Going on strong.
I had to point out that bathrooms thing because we each had our own technique for resisting going to the bathroom in order to play more Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I remember yours was you would sort of cross your legs and then like flex your arms like you were flexing your muscles.
Mm-hmm. A relaxed stance, but not quite.
Yeah, no, it looked like you were flexing for like Mr. Universe. So people would be like, what's he doing? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't quite natural, but obviously if I'm going to throw that out, I'll let you throw it back for us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you started humping the floor or something.
It's close. It's pretty close to that.
Anybody, an outsider watching, say, okay, that's sort of what's going on there.
yeah. If it was on the Zoo Channel or whatever, that'd be clearly what it would be called.
Yeah.
Matt, we have to say, our third partner in geek crime, our brother Matt, he had an interesting technique. Do you remember what that was?
He punched himself.
He would punch his bladder. He would just directly punch his bladder. Now, I don't know why we had to have separate techniques, but if people can picture at home a room full of guys renting games from Farmore, and one of them is punching his bladder repeatedly, like he's trying to jumpstart it.
Brotherly fun.
It's just brotherly fun. Mm-hmm. There should be no problem at all getting friends with that kind of behavior.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I just had to go down memory lane at the beginning of the show, but you're doing okay, I guess?
I'm doing fine. We have a new president.
We do. I heard about that. I heard that there was some sort of geeky stuff surrounding the inauguration, and we normally jump right into our geek news segment, so I'll let that be your geek news, because you were telling me a lot about this.
Yes. First thing, interesting bit of tech. You might have noticed Barack Obama walking out in open air, like during the latter half, and apparently not getting shot.
Well, I think we would have heard about that by now, but
exactly.
Yeah, a gutsy move, to be sure.
Very much so, and I was surprised, but apparently, rumor has it that he was wearing bullet-resistant clothing.
Which is awesome.
Not necessarily bulletproof, and some people say, well, maybe he just had Kevlar underneath, but it's more fascinating to imagine that he literally had a suit tailored made for him that is resistant to bullets.
Right, that's the thing is, like, you know, if you're not down with the first black president and you were to try to shoot at him and then he resisted the bullets, that's throwing it back in your face, I gotta say.
Literally, the bullet just bounces back in your face.
This may not be true. I have to say, this may be the only place that you're going to hear this news because it may be made up. I don't know.
That's true. It's all true.
It's too cool to resist talking about, though. But if they're making clothes, bulletproof clothes,
screw the recession. We got bulletproof clothing to buy. Also, truthful stuff, like stuff we can confirm is real. Barack Obama appeared in a Spider-Man comic.
That's correct.
That's pretty fascinating stuff.
Obama. I was surprised to see this is actually like a tradition going back to like FDR. Like FDR actually gave Captain America his shield.
Wow.
Especially Marvel, because Marvel was set in the real world. Like, you know, the president, you know, or celebrities will make an appearance. You know, it's like it takes place in New York as opposed to like DC has Gotham and Metropolis and things.
Yeah. Other things, for example, Barack Obama action figure is now available. And when I say action, I mean action figure. This thing has interchangeable facial expressions, which we're talking at like screaming and gnashing of teeth.
Well, is this a bit like the Jeff Goldblum action figure for Jurassic Park that included a rocket launcher?
Oh, actually, very much. He comes with a revolver, a samurai sword, a lightsaber.
Excellent.
Very kind of like Todd McFarlane or Todd Toys looking stuff. And one of my favorite poses, if you Google it, you may find an image of this action figure going up against Darth Vader with the lightsaber.
Gosh. What does it even mean?
What does it mean?
I love the internet for this because
he's a public official. Yeah. And he's battling fictional characters.
It must be... I was going to say the 90s for a second. Holy crap.
It must be the 90s.
Yeah. The internet, this is one reason I love the internet. Just Google image search Obama. You'll find the craziest Photoshop jobs. Some of them that make no political statement whatsoever. Mm-hmm. They're just like Obama on Obi-Wan's body. You know, it's like, all right, there it is.
There it is.
But anyway, so we got the comic, we got the action figure, and the bulletproof suit. I think he's officially ready for the office.
I think he's got what it takes now. That was my news stuff. What's going on over there?
What's going on over here? My favorite geek news story this week was, this is real. I'm anxious to get your reaction. Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Have you heard this already?
No, I like where it's going, though.
Okay. Keanu Reeves will be playing the role of Spike Spiegel in the Cowboy Bebop movie.
What?
This just happened.
Wait a minute.
We talked about the Cowboy Bebop feature film that they're going to be making on the podcast recently.
Yeah.
It has a director. It has a writer. Even the producers of the series are going to be involved with the film, which is sometimes comforting, you know?
Yeah.
And Keanu Reeves is, I think, a decent choice for this role. What do you think? I mean, obviously, you know, Cowboy Bebop is so sacred. Like, you know, it's my favorite anime. I think it's yours too. It exists as an anime, and it's ingrained in my mind that way. You know, the music and the style and everything. To make a feature film is gutsy to begin with, but if they're gonna do that, I think he might be good. But I want to get your take on this because I know you're a big fan.
I really don't know how I feel about that because I think he's too recognizable as Keanu Reeves. You know?
Right.
I mean, I guess he can handle some of the action moves that Spike Spiegel is required to do, but really, like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
I mean, for those who don't know, Spike Spiegel is sort of like a bounty hunter type character. Mm-hmm. He's incredibly thin, and he wears a blue like suit, with like a suit jacket, and he smokes a lot of cigarettes, and he has enormous hair. Do you think that they'll be doing the hair?
I really hope they would. I hope they don't give Keanu Reeves just like a little bit of a spikiness, you know, that it's full on like going out. I don't know. Like, I'm maybe too particular about getting a guy who looks as lanky and cool as Spike and having him do all those Jeet Kune Do kind of Bruce Lee moves.
Yeah. Well, that was the cool thing about him was he was super thin, and you would never assume that he could do anything, you know, violent, but he would bust out these moves against like people 3 times his size. I know it's a cartoon and everything, but still, you don't normally see that. And he did it all with class and with like wit, you know.
They got to give this thing what it deserves. I don't know.
Has there ever been an anime to film that you have been happy with?
Honestly, I can't think of many. I know that The Guyver was turned into a live-action movie, but I never saw that one. And maybe it's for the best that I didn't.
Yeah. Well, there is the one. Yeah, what's the one? Kashern? I think it's called Kashern. I don't know if it was an anime, but it looked exactly like an anime come to life.
That was probably one of the best examples of an anime style being done in a movie.
Right.
Okay, Avatar's being turned into a film.
That's true. M. Night Shyamalan. We talked about that.
Shyamalan, and Akira is getting the silver screen.
Yeah, that's got me nervous too. See, and that's the thing.
Well, you know what? I'm excited because Leonardo DiCaprio is involved, and honestly, like, he's
like in the movie.
Yeah, I believe he's actually Kaneda.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, and he's got some chops, and he can make some of those exaggerated expressions on his face.
Yeah, if you think more Romeo and Juliet, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
It's so cinematic on its own. Does it need to be made any more cinematic? I don't know. We don't know.
Right. Well, this is mainly just Hollywood running out of sources to pull from to make new movies. Like, they've exhausted a lot of novels. Right now, there's a whole comic book binge sort of going on.
Of course.
Occasionally, a video game slips through. And now it's on to animes to try and get those audiences into seats in the theater.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this turns out. You know, best wishes. But, man, I can't say I get behind that choice.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't pick a better anime to pull from. It's just, you know, I would encourage people, watch the series, you know, just in case they botch it. I mean, please.
Absolutely.
And that is Geek News for this week. So with that out of the way, we will push that aside and we will pull up a couch. I don't know what I'm doing metaphorically.
So it sounds like you're using the interface in Minority Report.
Yeah.
Push that aside and
I will place that aside, and I will now grab onto the archive known as our main topic, and I will pull it forward, and we will launch it. And the launching commences now. So this week we are reviewing the DVD release of a movie that a lot of people probably don't know about. Nope. It's called City of Ember, and when I first saw the trailer for it, it was kind of like BioShock for kids, was what I thought immediately. But this is actually based on a series of books called The Books of Ember by Jean Dupree or Duprou or Duprow. I have no idea how to pronounce French people's names. It is directed by Gil Keenan, who directed the, I think, underrated CG film Monster House, if you never saw that. And the screenplay is actually by Carolyn Thompson, who penned the screenplay for Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride. Basically, all these Tim Burton storylines, she fleshed it into screenplays. So you got good talent involved there. There are stars in this movie. Among them are some child actors. I don't remember their names, but the girl from Atonement is one of them.
That's where she's from.
Yeah, she plays the main character. And then there's some adult actors too, like Bill Murray and Tim Robbins. The storyline of City of Ember revolves around an underground city where humanity is hiding from an unknown cataclysmic event. The problem is that it was only designed to be a temporary refuge, and so they are running out of food and power. Now, the people who built this city included instructions for exiting the city in a tiny metal box, and they entrusted that box to the city's mayor, and that mayor was supposed to pass it when he died to the next mayor, and on for 200 years. Well, eventually, there was an epic fail, and one of the mayors did not pass it on. He died or whatever, and it got lost. So people are unaware of the exit plan or even that it's a temporary thing, and they're running out of food and power. We meet a girl named Lena, who is a descendant of the mayor, and she actually has this box in her closet. And we meet a boy named Dune, who is her friend. And that is all I'm going to say for the setup. I don't want to spoil too much. Rob, what did you think of City of Ember?
Okay. Well, basically, I did enjoy this movie. I had a good time watching it. It really did feel like a cross between BioShock and Fallout 3, or sorry, just Fallout in general. In fact, I couldn't help but feel like this entire movie is basically a kind of reimagined version of the first 1 hour of Fallout 3.
Oh, okay.
People living in a society that's very, like it's closed off. There are rules in place to kind of prevent them from straying away. It was really cool. I mean, it definitely was a kids movie.
Yeah, I should say I'm relieved that you enjoyed it at least, because the last kids movie I forced you to watch was Waterhorse.
Yeah.
And I mean, these are both different kind of kids movie, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, these are the types of kids movies that I, as a kid, liked. Which were like sort of like mature kids movies,
Maybe young adult is the right word. I don't know, more like Harry Potter.
Right, exactly. In fact, parts of this movie really gave me that feel. I do think like the budget sort of bled through at some points. It's clearly not up to complete par with what the imagination of the writer was.
Right.
There's a layer of polish maybe missing.
Yeah.
It almost looked like test footage at points. And I'm sorry, if you can see past that, which any kid will, should be fine. It's a really fun story and really interesting. Kind of some commentary, I guess, to be gained about like communism. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a message here.
Right.
The parents and the adults are supposed to be questioned and things like that, and the kids end up having the answers. However, there were smart parents and smart adults in this movie. They weren't all dim-witted or anything, Yeah,
it's a little refreshing with kids movies, at least. There always seems to be just a bunch of moron adults roaming around.
Dumb and ugly parents.
Exactly. I do like the characters that are set here. The old lady, Tim Robbins' kind of fatherly figure. Even Bill Murray at times was enjoyable. Although, if I had to pick a reason not to really recommend this movie, it maybe would be his performance.
Okay.
He makes it, if anything, a little bit lighthearted. It kind of, I think, falls short.
Yeah, I actually thought he was the best part of this movie.
Okay.
The word that came to mind when he was on the screen was just genius. This man is a genius. I don't know, and obviously you didn't like it, but I just love watching him, how sad he was and how inept he was, but also like just calm during this insane situations. It made me laugh. I enjoyed that Bill Murray. So he's a genius as far as I'm concerned in this. I like the puzzle solving too. Trying to figure out how do we solve this puzzle that the builders gave us. And anytime that they were trying to solve something like that, the movie kind of came alive for me. Where I would say that it falls short, though, I think, are that I didn't really connect a whole lot with these characters. So I ended up not having very strong feelings about this movie either way. I neither love it nor hate it. It's decent, but had we spent maybe more time in the world of Ember, in the daily life, I might have connected with them more. But when you set up your film to basically have them pretty quickly go about trying to escape from the city, I don't think you allow people to necessarily get in there and really come to love the world of Ember and everything. So now, again, I'm almost 30. These characters are like teenagers, so it might not be worth anything. But that is my 2 cents. I did have a question for you.
Sure.
Toward the end of the film, there's a part where they wipe off of a sign that says, "For the good of all mankind." And when that happened, I got a tingle about the BioShock movie. Did you feel during this film like more hopeful about a BioShock movie, or did that cross your mind at all?
I don't think this really did make me go, yes, they can do BioShock. I think they absolutely could pull it off.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like BioShock is way more easier to adapt to a movie than a lot of these video game movies have been made. Blood Rain, Postal, are you serious?
I know. Well, video games notoriously just can't get it going.
Mortal Kombat was maybe one of the better video game movies I've ever seen, and even then it was like, there's really no plot,
Yeah,
to that
campy. They did it right, though. They treated the game with respect. People fighting is what we wanted to see.
So that being said, BioShock has tons of great stuff to do, and I know there's BioShock novels out there and stuff like that. So certainly a BioShock movie is possible. I think it's just time for some people to take initiative. I was surprised actually. To see that this was a Playtone movie.
Yeah, produced by Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks's movies company.
I had certainly never heard of these books. There are actually 4 books, which I'm curious about because of the way the film ends, to see where it would go from there. But I think it was a good decision of Playtone and of Tom Hanks to produce this, because it ends up being a nice little break from maybe typical children's fare. I don't know.
Yeah, and in that sense, I really do recommend it because this and DreamWorks and that whole kind of second generation movie studio, I really like supporting that concept in movies because I'm always more for creativity than for the same old stick, the next time there's a police drama announced for television, I may just go down there and cause a real life police drama.
Oh jeez. Well, now that you've said that and incriminated yourself,
yes,
why don't we move on to real quickly our nostalgia portion of the show. Before we close out, we like to get a little nostalgia, reminisce about growing up geek. And occasionally we like to talk about things that scared the kriznap out of us when we were kids.
Yeah.
When we were tinier geeks. And I'm talking about circa 1985, the made-for-TV Alice in Wonderland. There was a scene in there with the Jabberwocky. And I would like to issue a challenge to you on the spot. I realize I haven't prepared you for this.
Okay.
You have acted.
Yes.
You have done performances. I would like to read the Lewis Carroll Jabberwocky poem.
Okay.
Going back and forth. I have the link here. I'm going to send it to you.
All right.
It's a nonsense poem, but I've always thought it would translate well onto the air. So this may go. This may be the last episode ever.
Okay.
And let's again. This will be flexing your acting chops. Does this require an English accent, perhaps? I don't know.
No. Just a very formal accent, not necessarily British.
Yes,
but,
bollocks.
Yeah.
All right, I will begin. This is Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe.
All mimsy were the burrow groves, and the mome raths outgrabe.
Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch.
Beware the jub bird, and shun the frumerous bandersnatch.
Yes, he took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought.
So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought.
I like that. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame
came whiffling through the tulgey wood and burbled as it came.
Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack.
He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back.
There you go. Thank you.
Well done.
Take a bow. Whether or not people enjoyed that, I have no idea.
That was probably the most theatric we've ever gotten on the show, so
exactly.
Cherish this moment.
Cherish it, fellow listener. So if you grew up geek like us and you have a topic that you think we should discuss, hit up our website at www.growing-up-geek.com. Leave us a comment or an email, and that is going to wrap it up for our show this week. Once again, I am Brad.
And I'm the humorous Bandersnatch.
And we will see you next week.